feel the energy. Do you want to do a breathing exercise first?
Yeah.
Ooh, just pretend nobody's actually doing it because we need to be on our best behavior. Thank you for joining. I am Kate Broddick, and you are in the vault with the Kate Broddick team, and I am very excited to welcome friend, colleague, fellow head coach with Revel Realty, Dave McKinnon. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
There's so many pauses right now.
Yeah, so many pauses.
This is Dave's first podcast.
Yes, I absolutely am a deer in the headlights when it comes to cameras in front of me. So this is putting me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love it. You're like, actually, I hate this.
Yeah.
No. This is great. This is great. And I think it's just about oosawing the energy and letting it all out. And
try my best oosaw today.
Okay, so we're going to get right into it because, Dave, you have been in real estate for 20...
No. Wow.
18?
Words hurt, you know.
Words hurt.
17 years.
17 years.
Yeah.
17 years. You were with, what brokerage were you with before Revel?
I was, I spent time with Home Life,
Life
in Hamilton. I was with Royal LePage for 9 years, and then I joined Revel, approaching 2 years with Revel.
Okay.
Now, so, yeah.
Yeah, and I think when we first chatted about you coming on the podcast, the story that I wanted to really get into, which we will, is the fact that you were always consistently top in your brokerage. You are a very consistent agent year over year in terms of transactions, ends, volume, income. You do a lot of your business, or most of your business, is from repeat and referral. So you've got like a nice, cushy job that you've created for yourself.
Cushy job. It is.
Yeah. Well, you do, right?
No, I mean, I've built my business entirely on referral.
Yes.
I do zero advertising or very little. And yeah, no, I mean, it's just, I always explain to the agents when I'm coaching the other agents, we're not in real estate, we're in the relationship business. And if you ask any of the agents in our office, what business are we in? We're in the relationship business. Yeah. And when you build those relationships, you become somebody's go-to. When they think about real estate, they only think of you. So that's what I've tried to build it based on. I spent, as you probably recall, I was 17 years in the car business before real estate. So I've only ever known.
And the tanning business too.
Yes. That was amidst both of them. But yes. So all of my entire adult life has been spent as self-employed, commission sales. I've never known a paycheck. I've never had that, so everything I've had to build, I've built entirely on my own. So it's, I love real estate. I love the car business. I love the tanning business.
You love business in general.
Well, because again, we're in the relationship business. And as long as we realize that we're working with people and the product that we sell happens to be homes now. Yeah.
And I think where I love where we're going with this, and I didn't mean to say cushy, I think you've created a comfortable is what I meant to say. Consistent and comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of can call what you're going to be doing every year because you've been so consistent.
Yeah.
But then you threw a curveball into your life and you decided, I'm just going to coach people because I want to give back.
Well, I was a lot of people, and as you know, real estate's a struggle for an awful lot of people. And I'll hit people right between the eyes. 80% of our industry fails. Okay, it is what it is. Yeah. Because it's difficult to build those relationships, retain the consistency, get the repeat and referral. And again, when you're throwing money at stuff all the time, and there's, again, some people have a huge success with high advertising budgets and everything, which is great, but that's a different way. That's not, I'm too cheap for that, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's what it came down to. I'm too cheap for lots of advertising. So I've tried to work it the other way and just, again, nurture those relationships with people over time. I try to train my agents the same way because, again, newer agents coming into the business very seldom have a high advertising budget. They don't have deep pockets. They don't have that machine or the capacity to build that machine moving forward.
Or they can't compete with the agents who have the budget, especially when they first come in. And ever since I've known you, let's start there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, because we've known each other now, and I know this because of how we met, which I'm going to get you to tell the story.
Yeah.
You've always been someone that's been available to agents for the last, almost 12 years now that I've been in the business. you've always been that person that people kind of go to. Even on my team when I was with Sutton, I had agents that would call you, and now you're a head coach. So why don't we start off by how did we meet? I think it'll be a story that you've
Well, we had
never going to forget.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, I had some investment properties, had moved into Brantford, was selling one of my investment properties in Ancaster, and you represented the buyer that was purchasing that. I mean, that was your first, you were approaching your first full year of real estate full time.
Yes, full time.
Yes, you had been a dental hygienist. You had your experience working at the restaurant business. But at that point in time when I met you, you were all of 9 months pregnant. Okay. We ended up doing the deal together, had a successful deal, and I remember you bringing the deposit to my house. And we've always joked since I thought I was going to deliver your first child on the carpet in my front door. Yes. But, and again, and we've had a lot of moments like that. We've done deals pretty much with every
life.
Well, I think all of your children, the unfortunate passing of your father, etc. We did.
We were in the middle of all transactions. That's crazy.
On everything, it's kind of creepy.
It is kind of creepy,
almost stalkerish. It's like, okay, I know Kate's going through something, so let me find one of her properties I can sell just so we can make a deal happen that day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you know what? I remember always made me laugh about our first transaction was when I came into your home, your son, who was like, I feel like he was like, he would 2 or 3.
Well, how old is your son, Jack?
Jack will be 11.
Okay, and Jacob is 13, so he would have been 2.
So he was 2. And I was like, literally, this was days before I had Jack.
I think it was the day before you actually went into
Well, I'm pretty sure that he induced my labor because he headbutted my stomach.
Oh.
Ran into me. I'm like, I think my water just broke.
He does that. Well, we like to control the process. That's the thing. Same with real estate. Let's control the process.
You're like, you don't really want to be pregnant anymore anyway. Let's get that baby out. But yeah, and it's been ever since. Like you're right. Like we've had transactions during major life changes, and unfortunately, my father did pass in the middle of one of our transactions on Waddington.
Yes, that's
it was
right.
on Waddington. That's
11
right.
Waddington.
And you brought flowers over to my house, and you actually took control of the rest of that because obviously it was a time of grieving for myself. And you've always been that kind of agent who's agent broker. Obviously, you're a broker now. Who's really supported people. So it's not shocking to me, but it is shocking to me that you became a head coach because you had this consistent job where you didn't need any extra things on your plate, and now you have chosen to give your time to coach people with really no financial benefit, right?
I remember years ago, and I mean, even at my previous brokerage, I used to mentor one of the training programs, the Buffini program, as a matter of fact, which is a work on referral program. So when I used to mentor that, I remember one of the older agents in the office that used to mentor that program at one time. He came to me and he said, "Why would you do that if you're not getting paid for it?" And I turned to him and I said, "Do you charge people to coach your son's, do you need to get paid to coach your son's soccer team? Yeah. You don't do it for that. Okay, when you want to see people grow, you want to see people grow. And like you say, as a broker, as an agent, whatever the case is, but it's more as a friend. I mean, the things that, again, relationship business. Okay, yeah. You and I built a relationship however many years ago. Well, we know now. And for 11 years, I mean, I've had your back. I've been in your corner, your growth, your pains, your growing pains in a city where you became the top agent, the top team. And you know what? Yeah, it was tough. You took a bit of a beating, and you always knew that you could pick up the phone and call me, whether it was tears or excitement or whatever the case is. And we always had that relationship. And I always told people, I said, Kate's been like a little sister to me as far as I'm concerned. So don't cry.
I'm trying not to. No, it was and it's the truth. But now you're taking that, in my experience, and you're literally giving it to agents in your office. And I mean, that's the next thing I want to talk about is your success in growing that office. Like, it's unbelievable. Well, you started with how many agents 2 years ago? Almost 2 years ago.
It was, I mean, the office was under a huge rebuilding process. So there was a lot of shakeup prior to me coming there. We essentially, I think I started, there were 5 and 3 left basically in the couple days that I was there that hadn't even met me. So I was at 2 agents, and then I built up, I built up to about 25.
That's unbelievable.
And yeah, we've just recruited 3 experienced agents just in the last week, here this
Wow.
week.
Do we know this? Does everyone know
What's
this?
that? I do not mention names on this.
Oh,
But
that's right.
but with that being said, yes. But yes, the contracts are out and signed, and everything's good. But again, and I'm talking agents with decades of experience that are coming
Wow.
because, again, the nurturing. I mean, part of it is when you ask about the what do I do? Okay, an agent needs me to go to a listing presentation. I'm there. I bring
Yeah.
them to my showings. If I'm negotiating a deal and they need to learn how to negotiate a deal, I'll bring them into the boardroom and they can see how I communicate with both my clients as well
Yeah.
as the agents on the other end to see how those transactions are actually happening, to see, if they're coming with me to a buyer appointment, I explain afterward. This is a step-by-step. You'll notice I ask that question. This is why. So
Yeah.
everything is constant learning and constant hand-holding. So we need that. I mean, mentorship in this business is absolutely essential, and that's why so many people fail, because they're thrown into the deep end of the water in real estate, and they're
Yeah.
said, "Okay, here, there's a desk over there. There's a
Phone
phone
book.
book. I don't think people use phone books anymore,
No.
but go knock on some doors, go do this and this. But knock on doors to do what? With
You don't
what
even know what to
purpose?
do. Yeah,
No.
you would have no idea. Like, oh, hi, do you want to sell your house? Like that's not a strategy.
No.
No.
And I always tell people, I said, remember, if you're in the relationship, like if you're in the referral business, you go knock on a door and say, "Hey, I'm a local realtor. I just want to introduce myself in case any of your neighbors are looking to sell their house or whatever. Let me know. I work all my business on referral. And by the way, if you ever have any questions, so that way you're not targeting somebody as a
Yeah.
door-to-door salesperson or whatever the case is, because they're just going to slam the door, say, no, I'm not interested. Thanks
That's
very
right.
much.
And then you're going to feel rejected and you're not going to want to continue.
But all I'm saying is, hey, I'm your buddy. I'm local. If you know anyone in the neighborhood or whatever,
Yeah.
it takes all the pressure off you when I go and do that. So
It's disarming.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
disarming.
Yeah. And again, relationship business, not transactional business,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And I mean, I think when I first started, I had a bit of a different career path, I think, than most. I came from a very process-driven business mind, I think, versus, I just want to sell real estate. I was looking at it from a different angle. But I would have loved to have someone be like, okay, now this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, rather than have to figure it out.
Right.
And that's, I think, the difference in this career is that people walk into it and they are like, well, now what?
Yeah.
What do I do for 8 hours?
No, you're absolutely right. And I always say to people, I said, now you have a real estate license. Now what? And this is the question people have. I have a real estate license. Oh, I have a business card. Now what?
Yeah.
And nobody's there to teach them. Nobody's there to hold their hand.
No.
Nobody's there to walk them through the process. I've got 34 years of direct selling experience. I've been in the trenches for my entire adult life. I don't know anything else but. Okay? I've never had another career prior to real estate. And I didn't do real estate on the side. Like, this was it. I jumped
Yeah.
in here, and it was either fail, it was either swim or sink.
Yeah.
And the car business was the same thing.
Yeah.
I grew up down in New Brunswick. I've been on my own since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
No experience, no post-secondary schooling, no nothing. I didn't have opportunities to be able to do other things. So I
Yeah.
had no choice when I moved to Ontario but to say,
This is it.
This is it.
Yeah.
I gotta figure this
I gotta make
stuff
it.
out.
Yeah.
I almost said a bad word.
It's okay. We say shit all the time. There's a few things that we don't mind saying. It's
Yeah.
totally fine. It just slips out. That's
Yeah.
part of my vocabulary.
Yes.
No, but isn't that maybe the reason why we see that success in people is that so easily people give up.
Mm-hmm.
So easily it's like, well, I've tried this for a couple weeks and I'm just not doing well at it. Or, oh God, like I clearly it's just not working.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work and you have to do it for a consistent amount of time, and then you have to reevaluate.
Yeah.
And you have to be accountable to yourself.
Yeah.
And when it's we'll call it life or death, I don't mean that, but kind of like there is no other option here. This
Yeah.
has to work.
Yeah.
And then people put themselves into it 150%.
Yeah.
You see the results.
Or they don't, and they tiptoe, and they wade in the shallow end, or they dip their toe in the water, and then they don't see the results. And this is,
Yeah.
that's the unfortunate thing. Most people get into this, and you have to succeed as a self-employed person. I always tell people you have to feel pain.
Yeah.
Everyone says to me,
Maybe
and
that's why I'm always.
no, but everyone says to me, and I'm sure they say to you, "Oh, must be nice."
Yeah.
Do you think it must be nice to be carrying a 9-month child inside of me, not knowing where my next deal is coming from, going around and personally handing out brochures, flyers, meeting new moms in the playground, and just trying to nurture yourself? And again, you're one of the most organized people I've ever met. I mean, your business plan. I remember we sat down at a local restaurant years ago, and you pulled out the iPad, and this is my advertising budget, and this is when I time block, and I'm like, whoa, you know
like,
what?
I'm scared.
No, I'm like, okay, I got a text message, I respond to it. I'm very fly by the seat of my pants, totally the opposite of the way you are. Not organized at all. Old school. I have a day planner. I write everything in, whether I have to wash my car or cut my hair or go to the gym, and then I check it off when I'm done. And
I'm
that's
not too different. But my strategies are, they can be really intense. But you know what? It works for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And yours, I wouldn't say that you're disorganized. I think that you just organize it differently in your mind. And you don't spend marketing money. And we've had this conversation because I have a marketing budget that's quite large, and in times like this, I've talked to you about, I've had to reevaluate that, and I've had to cut the fat off.
Absolutely.
And then you have your business. So what are you telling your agents then who are coming into your office and, you know, they're wanting to make something of themselves and they have that motivation, and what are you telling them strategically, like how to make it in this business?
Well, you know what? There is no magic bullet. There's not. This is what's going to work in real estate. No. And if you do this, you'll always be successful. Not a chance. If you don't have a network, you have nothing. Okay? Yeah. I pick up 10, 12 deals a year playing pool. Okay? Why playing pool? Because I don't golf. And if I were to golf, then guess what? Everyone at a golf course knows several real estate agents. Nobody at a pool hall seems to. You know, so like I say, that's just sort of my thing. So there's a bunch of deals I'm picking up just from networking with people in that environment, doing something I enjoy, and I enjoy the people there. And do I talk about real estate when I'm never. Somebody, I mean, every party, every conversation, you know, everybody comes up to you and they say, "Oh, yeah, you know, what do you think my house is worth?" My response to that is, "Oh, are you selling?" "Well, no." I said, "Then it's not worth anything. It's your home."
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else. You know?
Yeah.
Like, moving on. You know, like, and again, but then those people will realize, because most people that they will talk to in real estate, you know, they can smell their commission back. Wait, what do you mean here? What do you mean here? Oh, yeah, well, here, let me do an evaluation. Would you like me to come over Tuesday or Thursday at 2 or 4?
Yeah.
You know what? And it's like, whoa, chill.
Yeah.
Just making a conversation.
Put the brakes on. Yeah,
everybody wants to talk about real estate. How's the market?
Yeah.
Market's fine. Market's fine. Yeah, it's always fine. It's either a buyer's market, a seller's market, somewhere in between.
You got to pivot
Balanced market, good inventory, not enough inventory, whatever. It's always something. Yeah. But it's always a good market for somebody.
Yeah.
So and you just brush it off. But again, focus on the relationship business. And that's what I always try to tell my agents as well. I said, you have to network. If you have nobody to call, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Get out there and do open houses.
That's what I was just going to say. While you're talking about this, my head's turning because I moved to Brantford and knew nobody.
Yeah.
But then 3 years later was the number one salesperson. And I'm as introverted as they come. I am actually not an extroverted person. I like to be alone.
I know that.
So that would have, I don't know how that would have worked for me.
Yeah.
But I went to open houses.
Yeah.
And I put my extrovert pants on and I was like, nope, today I'm meeting as many people as
Where
I
do you buy
possibly
extrovert pants?
Well, I mean, you can get them online.
You can? Okay.
Yeah, you can get them online.
Is that Amazon?
yeah.
Just don't buy the ones on Marketplace, right? Okay.
They're usually the loud, funky pants that get the attention.
I'm going to wear my extrovert pants today. Now, what would introvert pants look like then?
Oh my God, the introvert pants are the big cozy joggy pants where you get to have a tea on your couch
Gotcha.
and not talk to anybody.
We're not going to talk about the pervert pants, though, right? Okay, good. Okay, keep those off the table.
No.
All right.
No, so this is like my extrovert pants. They're loud. They're a conversation piece.
This is my introvert.
Those are your extroverted
These
shoes.
are my introvert shoes and my introvert shirt.
No, that's an outfit.
You know what? This is an outfit of the day. I actually have an outfit
you do.
of. I have
your pocket square matches.
I have an OOTD right now.
You do.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually tagged you in my post this morning.
Did you?
You don't know how to work that.
I have no idea what that means.
I tagged you in my story on Instagram.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Do you know how to? No, you don't.
No,
Dave doesn't care about any of that.
I go through my social media and click like, and that's all I do. And I wish everyone a happy birthday in the morning. That's the first thing I do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
I go into
heard someone about that did this, and that's how they got their business.
Well, I don't get business from it, I don't think. But I first thing I do every morning is I go in, I'm drinking my coffee, I go into my Facebook, click birthdays, and go happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday.
That's
first thing I do
nice.
every morning. Yeah,
That's really
watching
nice.
the news. Yeah, so
watching the news. I don't turn that on.
Sometimes watching the news. Sometimes I'm sitting somewhere, but we won't talk about
that. Yeah. Touche.
Yeah, I know where Dave was when he wished me a happy birthday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's great. I mean, I believe the relationship business, I bought into that because if people are disarmed by you and they recognize you for a person and that you're good and that you have good intentions and that you want to help them in a very honest way, people will hire you. And I think that, well, I'm walking proof of that because I wasn't a salesperson.
Yeah.
I was connecting with people. I liked connecting with people. I don't always want to be around people, but I like connecting with people. And so to start your agents off like that is smart because they need to realize that you can't buy leads.
Right. And confidence.
That's
confidence. And that's one thing you had. That's one thing I usually have. Sometimes I'm, feel very insecure or whatnot. But generally speaking, I approach a situation with confidence.
Yeah.
And when somebody can look in your eyes and they know you got this, then they feel comfortable. I'll say to clients, as a producing realtor, and you can't really say this if you're only selling a couple of houses a year typically, but I remind people, they say, well, why should I hire you? I said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, if the average realtor, and I don't want to say numbers here, but like if the average realtor is selling 5 houses a year, if I sell 50 houses a year, that means 9 people in the office beside me have to sell 0 for us to be the industry average. So let me ask you another question. Would you hire a heart surgeon that does 2 operations a year to crack you open? Would you hire a lawyer that takes on 1 or 2 cases a year to get you out of jail or represent your divorce? Probably not. If you don't do something every day, you're probably not going to be very good at it.
Yeah.
So this is the confidence that you have to have when you're dealing with a client. Okay?
Yeah.
And this is the confidence you have to have when you're dealing with an agent, because most people are going in and say, well, I do it on the side. So you doing this on the side are going to represent my most valuable asset. And then when you look at agents, they haven't bought a house ever before. They've never rented an apartment before. They've never made a decision, been in a long-term relationship, been through a separation. I've been through it all. Through it all. I've been divorced. I've got 4 kids. I've been through everything. And at the end of the day, I've went through a house fire. I've moved.
That's right.
I've rebuilt a house. I've got numerous investment properties.
Yeah.
I mean, I've lived out on my own at an early age. I have all these experiences, and that makes me relatable with clients.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've said to agents, they said, well, what do I do to build that experience? I said, well, maybe go home and help mom make dinner today. That's a start. That's a start. And
Get some life experience.
And I've actually said that. And I am very, very blunt and very direct with the agents to try to, because I will tell them the things that they don't want to hear. And I will tell them the things, but I'm doing it because I care about them. I'm doing it because if you want to succeed, this is the shit you got to do. I just said it.
That's okay. You're allowed. You're allowed. You know what? We forgive those comments.
Yeah.
No, but it's the truth, though. But I mean, it's also you care enough to be honest.
Yeah.
And I've always said that if you really love somebody, you will be honest with them regardless. And how they take that information is up to them, and how they process it, it's up to them. Whether they put it into action, it's up to them. But at least you've given it.
Absolutely.
So now, what is on the horizon for you? Because you've got 25 agents, second year at Revel as a head coach. And just for clarification, Dave is the head coach of Revel Brantford, which is a brokerage. I am the head coach of the Cape Broddick team in Brantford, but we are a team office because I know that we get a lot of. I have reviews on your Google page.
I know. I've actually called your office and said, "Hey, can you call this client and get them to put reviews on your page too?" But thank you. They're all 5. They're all 5 stars. They're all great. So thank you for that.
So I'm bringing up his ranking.
Yeah.
But like, what's on the horizon here? Because I mean, you've got 25 agents. Are you looking to? I know you're looking to grow the office more. Like, what do you see the next year being?
You know what? And I mean, I've spoken to the powers to be at Revel about this, and when we've talked about sort of business planning and everything else as well. I understand. I mean, and this is the thing. I mean, a lot of small brokerages, very boutique brokerages, unfortunately, just don't make money because the odds in this business are 20% of your agents are going to produce. So that means if you have 10 agents, you have 2 producers, 20 agents, 4, 30 agents, 6, et cetera, et cetera. So with those numbers, you need to scale it up in order to get the production to pay the expenses, to pay for the vault and, the awesome videographer over here. But like I say, you need to scale it up. But it's different if you scale up too large because it takes away from everything that I'm all about. The reason I got into this role. Yep. When I turned 50, which was 2 years ago, and yes, that makes me OAF, and I will not explain what that means. But when I turned 50 a couple of years ago, a few things changed. And just put things in perspective to say, I've got the wants. Okay, I've got the luxury sports car and the fancy stuff and the house is paid off and all that sort of stuff. Like, got all that. I've accomplished the financial stuff. Kids' education's looked after. This is looked after. My health isn't terrible. I probably drink more than most people should, but outside of that, probably eat more than I probably should, as I'm sure people in the watching this will judge. But no, outside of that though, things changed, and I said, how do I give back? How do I because I am passionate about teaching people.
You are.
I love doing
always
it.
Have been.
Okay, I mean, I taught martial arts years ago. I didn't get paid for that. That was just something you're passionate about doing. You want to see people grow. You want to see kids develop that confidence as they're growing up. I mean, you want to do that. I coach my kids' soccer teams and stuff like that. You don't do that because you're getting paid.
No.
I don't coach agents because I'm getting paid. I make myself available to people, as you well know. I become everyone's go-to. And not even Revel agents. I'm talking lots of agents. They'll call me up and say, hey, I got this situation.
Well, my team was a big instance. I mean, they knew that
they didn't call their broker of record. They called me.
They did. They absolutely did call you. But I think it's because you were always available. Mm-hmm. And you really are always available, especially when it comes to it's like an I need you moment. It's like, I'm here. Yeah. Let's go, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's wonderful. And I do hope you scale the office, to a reasonable number where you don't lose that intimacy.
Where I can manage, yes. Yeah. And that's it. I got to maintain the intimacy, good word, but to be able to manage it. I've got to be able to do the hand holding and stuff, because if it grows too big, until I have experienced mentors in the office that can do what I'm doing the way I do it, then it will be very, very difficult, because it'll become very diluted, and that's one thing I would like to avoid. So,
and speaking of also, I guess not just building relationships, but also being in the community, we have our Out of the Cold event coming. So I'm going to put a plug in here, because we are promoting the HECK out of it. Is that, did I spell that right?
HECK.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is our second annual Out of the Cold.
Say ship, but not heck.
I don't know. Heck is I think kind of a bad. My mom doesn't like heck.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, when I say fair. That she doesn't like hell either.
Okay.
Yeah, and I always have to think, will Mom be okay with this, because she watches it?
That's fair. Hi, Mom.
Mom's also my top fan on Facebook. I just want everyone to know. Nice. So we have our second annual Out of the Cold community event, which I'm really excited about. I did a video yesterday, and we had a wonderful man who I'm going to do a shout out to later on today on my Instagram stories, who saw my video and dropped off 3 garbage bags full of clothes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this year we're doing it at our office. Dave's bringing his trailer. We're going to fill it again and be a part of it. So October 24th from 6 to 8 at the Cape Broddick team office. Dave will also be there along with...
Will there be drinks?
Well, yeah, we're okay. There. Yeah. Well, maybe not your drinks, but there will be hot chocolate.
Fair enough.
We'll put some rum in it for you.
Nice.
No, I'm only kidding. And then also the crew will be there, and I think a few other agents are going to be lending a hand, which is amazing. So we're going to do those community events. Where can we find you, Dave, if people want to see more of Dave?
Well, most people don't want to see more of Dave now, but I'm not hard to find. I'm out there. I mean, Revel Brantford, of course. I am the head coach at Revel Brantford.
Instagram?
I am on it, I think. Hold on one second. Let me just check that.
_list Dave is his handle.
Are you sure? Is it?
I am positive.
I'm just going to check that.
Yeah, Dave doesn't go on social media. You know what? Don't go on Instagram. Call him.
All right. And Facebook. Everything's under my own. I don't know. I got nothing.
Yeah. If you need to find him, he's Brantford Revel head coach. Not the Cape Broddick team, but Brantford. And it's @_list_Dave is your Instagram handle.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. I just tagged you this morning.
I have no idea. Got nothing.
And so, so we appreciate you coming. Hopefully you got rid of your jitters.
My nervous energies.
Yeah, your nervous energies. Now you're.
Well, I was able to look at you and not the camera, so it took a little bit of the intensity out of it. Yeah.
So now we took away your podcast virginity now.
Wow, that sounds weird.
Yeah.
This got awkward in a hurry.
Yeah. So if you want to,
I'm wearing my extrovert clothes,
and you're wearing, and I'm wearing my extrovert pants.
All right, fair enough. Gotcha.
So we do appreciate you joining. Stay tuned for next month. If you want to find this podcast episode, you can find it on Apple Podcast, YouTube, and Spotify. So thank you for joining.
And @ListDave now, right?
And @ListDave.
Sorry.